I should take these out. Welcome back again. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, turn on my little notifications, and you might as well give this video a big thumbs up while you're down there. Now let's get right into this story. I remember this story when I was talking to a childhood friend, and I cannot believe I just can't believe that I haven't told this story yet. And I have to warn you before I get all of the comments telling me what an idiot I am. There are going to be so many parts in this story where you hear it and you're just gonna be like, but first of all, I was in middle school, which was at least a century ago. Second of all, this was before Catfish was a thing. There were no Neve and Max. There were no fake profiles. This was before MySpace was even a thing. The only way people were even talking online was through this thing called, honestly, I hate that I'm saying this thing called because I know that 80% of my viewers at least have no idea what I'm about to talk about. AOL Instant Messenger, also known as AIM, or AIM. No one ever knew which one it was called. It was like the great debate of, is it AIM or AIM? These are the things we worried about in the early 2000s. Third of all, me in middle school is what you would call not even remotely cute. So the fact that I was getting this love and attention from somebody who was way out of my league, I was probably just blinded by hotness and loneliness and desperation, but I'm older and better now. Anyway, let's take this back to middle school. Yes, middle school. I didn't have many friends. I was emo, I was annoying, and wow, not much has changed. But I did have this friend that we'll call Betty. Betty and I had really similar interests in obscure music and slip-on skater shoes way before they were cool, which is kind of messed up, by the way, because then they became cool, but I didn't. Like, hello, trendsetter. Betty was a little different than a lot of the girls in our class. She had a really short haircut, she didn't wear makeup, she wore boys' clothes a lot, and this was like over a decade ago, and things were really different back then, especially in schools. People teased her a lot, people spread rumors that she was gay, which at the time was super not socially acceptable. Again, especially in schools, which is so sad, but it seems like it's getting at least a little bit more accepting in schools, just from what I hear and what I've seen online, but I obviously haven't been in school in a long time. So please let me know in the comments, what is your experience with acceptance of the LGBTQ+ community in school? I'm actually very genuinely curious to hear how things have changed and how things are still the same. So I'm in middle school, awkward AF, never been kissed, spending way too much time on the internet. The more I talk, the more I realize how little has changed. But a lot of time on the internet, specifically AIM, 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 AIM. AIM was weird. People put up away messages when they weren't really away. People messaged their crush pretending like they didn't know who it was. And people talked to a lot of strangers online with zero context of who they were. So one day I get a message from this boy named James. He said he knew my friend Betty. He had a crush on me because he saw me out somewhere one time, and he asked for my screen name, which at the time was Bravo Jaguar 91. Ended up clicking with this person right away. We had so much in common. The same taste in obscure music, the same style in slip-on skater shoes. I think you know where this is going, but you're only 3 minutes in, and this is a 12-minute video. So you know it's about to get hella weird. I would spend hours a day talking to this boy. He sent me a picture that was super hot as a middle school me talking about a middle school boy, not as me currently talking about a middle school boy. And I literally printed it out and put it in my wallet. Yes, I printed it out and put it in my Hot Topic wallet. I asked him how he knew Betty because he didn't go to our school, and he said that they had met at the county fair a couple years ago and they had stayed close ever since. And it was a little weird that we had never heard of these people before, but you don't question love. It wasn't long before James said that he had something to tell me. And I said, you can tell me anything less than 3. And he said, I like you. And I said, like you like me as a person, or you like me? And he said he liked me. And my little emo heart changed from black to slightly less black that day. Did I just spit a lot? One day, one of my friends we'll call Katie messaged me and asked me if I was talking to James. I was like, yeah, and she said that she used to talk to James and he all of a sudden just disappeared. And then she told me that I couldn't talk to James because she liked James and blah, 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 blah. We actually ended up getting into a real fight about it. I had to choose between her and James, and obviously I chose James because this is true love and you don't just let true love go. Now, James had a friend named Ryan. Ryan wasn't there from the beginning. He kind of came into the picture later. James was tall, dark, and handsome. Ryan was cute and thin and had long blonde curly hair. James was my boo. Ryan was my friend. Ryan was also talking to this other girl that we'll call Llama. Llama was not my friend. Llama was a bitch. Every day after school, I would go home and I would talk to Ryan and James and Betty online. But when it started getting weird is I would never be able to talk to them at the same time. Now, before I get to this part, because I know that you're all gonna be like, I would like to remind you, CATFISHED catfishing was not a thing. Yes, we knew that there were creepy old men that wanted to talk to young kids in chat rooms, but at the time, nobody would have ever guessed the weird, manipulative, Machiavellian type shit that was happening here. So I'd get on AIM, and I'd be talking to Betty. Betty would sign out, and then James would sign in, and then I'd be talking to James, and then James would sign out, and then Ryan would sign in, and then I'd be talking to Ryan. But none of them were ever online at the same time, talking to me at the same time. And before you too much, I did question it a few times, but they always had an excuse. And because I was in love, and by in love I mean lonely, I chose to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, the boys were best friends and hung out with Betty all the time after school. Thing is, I used to hang out with Betty all the time after school. So there were a lot of times and instances that I would try to meet up with them. We would make plans, and then all of a sudden they'd ghost, but then later they'd have an excuse. Or I'd go somewhere because we were supposed to meet up, but then we were supposed to be there and we'd try to contact them. We, meaning me and some other friends that were going to meet up with them. They would say that Betty's phone died. Oh yeah. James and Ryan didn't have cell phones. But I was also one of the only other people on the planet at that time to not have a cell phone. So I thought it connected us in some way. But that also means that we've never talked on the phone. I know. Or if we went somewhere to meet up with them, like a public place, like a football game, we would finally find Betty and we'd be like, hey, where are the boys? And she would say, oh my God, they literally just left like 2 minutes ago. You just missed them. I wish you had gotten here a couple minutes sooner. So time goes on, and at this point, I've never heard this boy's voice, never met up, even though they were at Betty's house apparently like every day. Then one day, and for the life of me, I can't remember exactly how it happened or why it happened. And I actually messaged this Katie girl recently to see if she remembered anything, but she only remembers about as much as I do. But James just like disappeared from my life, or we had some type of falling out, but I just wasn't talking to James anymore, just like with her. And my heart turned pitch black again. I was so sad. But Ryan was there for me. We talked about James, and he kind of started shit-talking him. This is his best friend. But he was just saying how he's not a good friend, not a good person, that I shouldn't trust him, and I'm better off without him. Now, remember, Ryan was talking to Llama. Or wait, was it Sally? Wait, did I use the name Sally? I don't know. I can't keep up with my fake names. I'm bored. But basically, all these people were coming at me like, yo, these people aren't real. James and Ryan, they're not real. Part of me had always known that they weren't real, but I wasn't ready to admit that they weren't real, because that would mean that there wasn't actually a hot guy that thought I was cute. Crooked teeth, greasy bangs, and all. I was high on delusion, and I was not ready to crash back down to reality yet. Again, it is so alarming how much has not changed. But then Ryan one day told me that he had something that he had to tell me. And I said, you can tell me anything, lesson 3. And he said, I like you. And I said, like you like me as a person, or you like me? And he said, I like you. And my black heart turned a little less black once again. So Ryan tells me that he likes me. And the very same day he set his icon, okay, hold on, let me explain. On AIM, you could set your buddy icon to a picture or a GIF. And there was a website where you could personalize these icons. So Ryan, the very same day, set his buddy icon to a guy and a girl kissing under fireworks, and under it said, I love Gabby, G-A-B-B-Y, because that was before I changed it to G-A-B-B-I-E to separate myself and feel original. So now I'm talking to this new guy, Ryan. It's causing all this drama with Llama, and now it's drama with James too, because James is coming at me saying that he loves me, even though he disappeared when actually he didn't disappear because he never even existed. But then it turns out he was messaging this other girl that for this video we'll call Felicia, and then that became drama. So then it's me, Ryan, James, Katie, Felicia. Was there a Sally? I don't remember. We're all at each other's throats, and we realize, where's Betty? Betty was always a peaceful mediator in the whole situation, but somehow always knew very little. She played dumb a lot. And finally, we confronted her and we said, yo, straight up, are you Ryan and James? Is this you? Like, it only makes sense. You're the only person who's ever hung out with them. Every time you log out, they log in, and then they log out, and then you log in. You're at the center of all of this. You're the person whose phone always dies when we're supposed to meet up. Is this you? And she said, no, it is not me. But we all knew in our hearts that it was her. And we all cut her out of our lives because she had caused drama with all of us. Think about this. Think about how twisted this is. She was pretending to not only be one, but 2 guys. And she was creating these love triangles with so many of us, like me, Ryan, James, Katie, me, Llama, Katie, Ryan. And all of us were just going at each other and fighting over these guys, which were all her. I always had a suspicion that she liked girls and she didn't want to admit it. She didn't want to come out. So she pretended to be boys, very desirable boys who she could use to talk to the people that she had a crush on. And I asked her about it and she said no. And it wasn't until years later, after we had both graduated high school, I had talked to her when I was in college. We had gotten in contact and I was just like, I hate to bring this up, but I have to know. And she was like, just say it. I said, were you James and Ryan? And she said, yes. So after years and years and years, she finally admitted that she had created these fake personas. She came out as bisexual later, which, you know, I'm so happy that she was able to do that. So when she came out as bisexual, I asked her like, hey, did you do this so that you could talk to us and, you know, have an emotional relationship with a girl? And she said no. I don't know how much I believe that because I can't think of any other reason that she would do this. Yeah, it's so crazy to think. It would have been one of the most insane episodes of Catfish of all time. Two completely separate people, separate lives, messing with so many different people in the same friend group, causing drama and love triangles and creating feelings for people and having people have feelings for inanimate, like, oh God, it's so nuts. I wish for the life of me that I could find that picture of that boy. And that's the story of my first heartbreak. Do you guys have any catfish stories? I always think that these are so fascinating. And have you ever been a catfish? People have used my pictures to catfish after I started coming up on Vine and YouTube and stuff, which, you know, what are you gonna do? But I wish that somebody would do it so intensely that it got onto the show Catfish and then they would have to shout out my YouTube channel. They would reverse Google image search my face and then my page would come up and they would say, oh, this shows up as Gabby Hanna, aka The Gabby Show. It looks like she has a few million subscribers on YouTube. I mean, it could be her. She could be the one talking to you. We don't know anything for sure yet. I would love that. Anyways, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications if you have not. Check out my vlog channel and all my other social media. It's time for Showstopper of the Week, and this week we have Redneck Kitten Princess because I got on Instagram and she was liking all of my photos. Rapid fire in a row. Thank you so much for all of the support. It means the world to me. As always, I love you very much. Thank you for being a part of my family, and I'll see you next time.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then how